Hello and welcome to our review for the 10th episode in the 7th season of the 100. We just got done watching A Little Sacrifice, which I really enjoyed. It was
Yeah.
a little sad having to go a couple weeks without watching the 100. I did miss it, and I thought that this was a particularly interesting episode. There was some good stuff with Jordan. I really loved the whole him translating the text that Bill translated a long time ago, and he thought he got it right. He's just overconfident. He's not really open to different interpretations, so it makes a lot of sense that he would just see what he wants to see there. But I also thought the way they ended the episode and how that tied into the conversation about a little sacrifice that Bill was having with Gabriel was really cool. And I think we just quickly got each other's opinions about it. I think you agreed, right?
Yeah.
That it was a pretty good episode
Mm-hmm.
in general. I think the biggest complaint I have about the episode is that sequence with Dios at the end. I was a little confused why none of the disciples even tried to stop the WMD or whatever they called it, the Gen 9, from being put in the water system.
Well, it seemed to be happening pretty quick.
Yeah, it must have happened.
I
She's
mean,
an ill ninja or something, right?
yeah. Well, even if she's not, I mean, how would they be able to react and know what's going on?
Mm-hmm. And the other thing I was thinking about that scene was how does it help anybody, the Yosef taking the thing first? Because when the Gen 9 still found its way into the water system, the way it spread across the entire room makes me feel like did
I
did
don't
her
know. I
putting her hand
mean,
out actually do anybody any good? Because they're supposed to
it's
have some time.
well, she did shut the lid of the water.
They did? I missed that.
Yeah, she
Okay.
shut the lid, and it seems like that stuff is not really like a forceful crystal. It just sort of fills up the space that it's in.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
it kind of makes sense to me.
Okay, yeah, I did definitely miss that, and I guess maybe they weren't shooting the lasers because they hoped somebody else would step up and they wouldn't actually have to use the lasers because Dioza did mention how that would be a bad idea if they accidentally
Yes.
shot the thing and then you know, exploded 10 times worse than it did. Because I don't know if it just was a drop or if there was more inside that little cylinder. It may have been that was all it took, and that's all they actually needed to refine. So that's all that there is. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna miss Anders a little bit. I thought that actor was pretty cool. He's gone for sure. Dioza is really great. It's such a great character.
Yeah.
I did like Clark's line about how they needed to go check in with the three, what is it, bravest women or something like that that
The
this
three
planet
most
had.
dangerous women on this or any other planet.
That was a great line. I love the way she said it. I mean, some of the
It's
lines in
alright.
there weren't super great, but that
It's
one I
kind of
thought was
cheesy. I
okay.
mean, it's alright, but I don't know. This doesn't seem that clever to me.
I
It's
mean,
fine.
they like to build up their female leads, and it was a little bit, yeah, a little too on the nose or whatever you
Yeah, I
want to
feel
call
like
it.
Dio's story, arc is pretty impressive. She really came with the redemption at the end, and I don't know. I miss her character. I really enjoyed watching her. Um,
Hmm.
yeah,
All the time jumps they put in just this season
yeah.
gave her a lot of time to grow because up until that she'd been pretty evil. She'd done some pretty messed up things in the name of her people and to the people that we cared about against the 100 or one crew at that time. So yeah, I agree. I'm definitely gonna miss her, but hopefully Hope and Echo learn from that example because we found out in this episode that Echo hadn't forgiven the disciples. She actually was still very bitter and seeking vengeance, which made a lot of sense. She's a spy. We talked about how it was very likely that she was just faking this all so she could get the right opportunity to portray the disciples. But then with that, I was pretty convinced with the whole simulation thing that she had changed her feelings. If she hadn't um, earlier and she'd just been playing a role up until that point, I figured through getting to know them that she actually changed. But apparently she, like you, kind of could tell it was a simulation. I think you said, am I remembering this wrong? And maybe I'm remembering a comment or somebody's like, I could tell it was a simulation. Um,
Wait, what's a simulation?
when they were with the flamethrower and
Oh
like
yeah,
maybe
Yeah,
the
yeah.
last episode or the one before that.
When they were like
Yeah.
lying down in the dream thing. Yeah.
And
No,
they
that
all.
was totally a simulation. I mean, like, once it got like so unrealistic that it was like, what? This is like, why would the writers do this? And you can kind of tell it was dreams.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Like, why kill off Hope like that? Because at first it was Echo talking to Hope, like, you can't do this, you can't kill off all the innocents. And that does seem to contradict kind of what we saw from Echo in this episode. And I'm curious how those episodes are written and how that kind of, like, makes sense from a character perspective. But, you know, if anybody's got any insights on that, I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. We're just obviously reacting to it right after we got done watching it. I thought the stuff with Murphy was neat. I like that not all the faithful are dead, that the stuff he did, the sacrifices he made actually came back to help him. He's got allies in there and people to protect now in the reactor room. The father of the son, and I think the son are still alive. There was another child rather, that Maddie had gone close to. I saw something on Twitter about him right after the last one where all the faithful were killed. And I was like, this is a really weird time to call attention to this kid. It was because he potentially plays a bigger role in the rest of the season. But who knows, maybe that was it. Maybe that's his last scene. Something tells me no, he's gonna save some of one crew because they were there for him when he needed friends and allies. Shade Hater was great. The way he looks once he got his eye slashed was, I thought, really great. Iconic villain with the eye patch and bleeding black. Like, it, I don't know. It's been a while since we've seen that in the show, so it was nice to see them kind of using that aesthetic to make him look even more evil. His costume change was pretty cool. Now
he got like a braid.
Well,
it's like, where do they find the time to do the hair? It was like 20 minutes. How did they braid a bunch of crap into his hair?
They don't have internet
like,
on
they're like, okay,
Instagram.
hey, hairdresser, like, let's get going. We got like 15 minutes before the 1v1, so.
Yeah. You're right. No.
It's so ridiculous. I mean,
thought
maybe it was
Indra
later,
changing
but, like,
was weird.
yeah, what the? Didn't she used to have hair? She had hair, and then she
they,
shaved
like,
it all.
took off all the hair on top
So
for
weird.
whatever reason.
Like, I actually kind of get that because, like, you want to be like yanked, but like, it's just such a weird. Also, wasn't Shitheada's hair like this long before? How did they even braid stuff into it?
Something tells me they took a break in between, like, shooting the first half of the season and the second half of the season, and it's just like whatever they came back
and
with.
Maybe there was supposed to be like a time jump of a few hours or something, but the way it was shown did not make it seem. Yeah. It seemed like it was like half an hour later or something.
Yeah, well, it just was those two characters are the only ones who had anything about the aesthetics changed, like Amori and Murphy and all the people in the background. I think we're still in the same getup, so it's just kind of, it felt kind of strange that they did that. We were pretty convinced.
Well, Amori did. She put on a doctor's coat at one point.
Yeah, I almost said that. It was pretty cool to see her playing the doctor role because. I don't think we've seen too much of that from her, but she did learn some skills when she was up in the arc. But I was about to say, we were both pretty convinced Indra was dead because we're in, like, there's no way they kill Shade at this point.
I think like 20 minutes in, we were like, is Indra gonna die in this episode? Because it seemed like it, but I feel like I got the bait and switch there.
I didn't like Maddie jumping out and stabbing the way it kind of came in, and it was like a little bit crazy and unbelievable that like he didn't just outright just kill her and like snap of a finger. And
you're just grouchy because you wanted it to be Murphy. You're
sitting there
Murphy.
Like,
oh, is it Murphy? Is it Murphy? Do it, Murphy.
Murphy's gonna save them all. He's our hero. He's the true hero of the 100. We all know that. It would be a good arc for him because he was a villain just like Dioza. They could mirror that with him.
I mean, it's cool that Maddie did that, but I feel like that's kind of out of character for like how she's been this season.
Yeah, not very brave.
Since like, I mean.
But she did a lot in the previous season. She killed a lot of people.
I know.
She has that training.
I know, but she's been having so much like mental anguish. You know.
Surprised Jackson didn't come in and be like. Therapy.
Yeah, was he even in this episode?
Where is Jackson?
He was like sort of somewhere. I thought I saw him at one point. I don't know.
He's leading the resistance somewhere.
Yeah.
No, you know what? Actually, why is Mori doing all of the doctor work? Where was
What happened to
Jackson? Jackson, you better have a good excuse for not being in this
I can't
episode.
remember.
What have you been up to? Um, what else did we like? Picasso, the dog, had more scenes. He hasn't been in the show very much, right?
Such a hater. You don't even like dogs, and you're like, let's talk about Picasso.
What?
And you spelled Picasso wrong.
Well, because I'm a bad speller.
Sorry.
It's fine. Miller hugs Octavia. They'd had some beef before. I forget exactly what they were fighting over, but it was nice to see them kind of
Yeah.
forgive each other and become friends. I'm sure there's going to be more scenes like that between the two of them. They've had a lot of history together. Kombucha's gross. You know what? I do like some dogs, just not like the big dogs that can hurt people. Kombucha? No. There's no condition under which I'm a fan of kombucha.
It's not that bad. Jeez.
I can't stand it, but that's just me, I guess. You're right. It's time to move on to the next page. There isn't that much that I really wanted to highlight here. I thought Bill's line about saying if you got no one to love, there's no betrayal it's an interesting philosophy, one that we haven't really seen in the real world. And I mentioned this before. It's very like Plato's Republic. You know, emotion isn't always good for you. Sometimes it makes you do the wrong thing. And while I'm sure he's got a lot of things wrong, I think that might be one of the things that they need to look for when they choose the person, that they actually take this test, the final test or the last test, whatever they're going to call it. But yeah, I'm so curious how they're going to actually go about this. Who's going to be the person they choose? If it is just one person, the best choice is probably like Bellamy or Octavia or one of those main characters that's shown that they've grown a lot. It'd be really interesting if they chose Echo or Hope. Just really Hope because of what we saw in this episode being better, and her name. It's like her namesake. She's kind of got to live up to that and be more hopeful and do the right thing. I don't know. Is there anyone else you'd like to see? Like maybe Murphy take the test?
I don't know if I completely agree that it'll be one person taking this test. That seems, I mean, the way they kind of slipped it in there makes me think that that's what they're going for, because that's how they tend to drop those like plot points.
Yeah, exactly.
Just like, whoop, here's like a side character, just slipping it in.
This is where we're going. Don't overthink it.
Yeah. I don't know. It just seems unlikely, and like, to be honest, I'd be pretty disappointed if it was Clark.
Yeah, it'd be a little bit too normal, too expected. Same with Bellamy.
I think that they would do Maddie.
Would be good.
Octavia, I feel like they might not use her just because she's kind of had a complete story arc.
Yeah, they've used her a lot.
I feel like Hope right now is Hope and Raven are the ones who are kind of like hanging, like they haven't really had like a resolve.
That'd be great if Raven had that.
It would be kind of cool.
Because she's had so much misery throughout this show. Like she
her
seemed
and
to
Hope
just
too. Like they've both
being
had
down
some
there.
like serious. I mean,
Hope hasn't really had
as
a
much
real
as
life.
as
She's
much
been
as the
isolated
show's
her
about
life.
like strong female leads and stuff, like they really put them through some serious mental like anguish in the show. Like they just killed Hope's mom like 3 months after she got back to her.
Yeah.
Or I don't know how long it was,
Like,
but like
big
not very
ordeal.
long. Yeah.
It's kind of how like Abby died, but Abby, she was around for a long time.
Yeah, well, Hope like hadn't seen her mom since she was what, like 5 or something. She was really young.
It's like 5 to 10, something in that range, I'd say.
Well, it's been like what, 8 years, 10 years, something. It's a long time.
Yeah, I was just thinking when we're like Hope, she's been isolated. Jordan, he's been isolated. Maybe it'd be cool if it's just Jordan or like Jordan and Hope to go through and take the test. Maybe they can do 2 people in the test.
Because they have like a different perspective of humanity, having only been around a select few people for the majority of their lives.
Yeah.
They're more pure.
Maybe they have enough contrast between them that they can kind of help balance each other out and help each other with different aspects of the test.
I really
hope that.
Hope they don't like stick them together in some sort of weird forced relationship.
I think it's
that'd be
happening.
weird, but it seems like it would happen because they're about the same age.
I'm pretty convinced that's what they're gonna go for.
Boo. I think it'd be cool if they worked together
Yeah.
because they are quite different characters. Like Jordan is very passive, not really a fighter.
He's
As
less
much.
emotional. He's
I don't think that's
maybe.
true.
Okay.
I just don't think that he's had the same like fighting training. He hasn't spent his whole, like, you know, entire childhood to adulthood
Mm-hmm.
learning how to fight.
Yeah.
You know?
It's gonna be
He
really
just has a
interesting to see
different-
the outcome with him and how he interacts with the disciples now.
Yeah.
'Cause I think he's actually gonna be pretty open to the way they think.
Yeah, I was thinking that too, because he does, I mean, I don't know, he kind of has that kind of vibe.
I think he'll like get them to be his followers. And I remember something about when Murphy almost died. He had a vision about like going to hell or something like that.
Mhm.
And Jordan may have had a similar experience if I remember correctly. I think they said at the beginning of this season that like he didn't believe like all the other ones. He wasn't brainwashed because he had a similar type of vision maybe when he almost died. He's got a purpose. He was chosen, like Bill said. There may be like certain people among them that are chosen for this test. So maybe it's gonna be like Bill, Murphy, Jordan, and a couple other people, which would be a weird combination of people to send through.
Who? Wait, Bill?
Bill said he was chosen.
You said Bill, Jordan, and Murphy?
Jordan may have also had the vision, and then Murphy said that he had a vision
That would
about.
be a really bizarre combo. I really don't think they'll send Bill through, unless he forces his way in there, like I don't know.
He probably will. I feel like
Yeah.
if they can send more than one person, it's gonna be something like that, or there's gonna be some kind of conclave where they fight to the death. The chosen must fight.
So I really don't think it's gonna be 3 dudes.
You're right, actually. That'd be very unlikely.
Yeah, I
They
think
have
so.
to choose the other people to send through. Pray Hope. And Octavia. And somebody else that's really cool, like Raven, like you said. That'd be a good combo of people, if you ask me. Yeah, I think that's everything I had in my notes. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about here?
I don't think so.
Yeah, it was a fun episode. We enjoyed it, and we're really looking forward to the next one.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, take care. Have a good one.